6 foods that clean your arteries. There was a 68-year-old man. He went for his checkups every year. His cholesterol was fine. His blood pressure was fine. His blood sugar was fine. The doctor said everything looked good. He felt reassured. Until one morning, he collapsed in his kitchen. A stroke, no warning, no signs. And the frightening part is, he wasn't a rare case. Did you know that every meal you eat doesn't just nourish your body? It also quietly affects your arteries every single day. Can nutrition actually reverse that process starting today? Today, I'm going to show you exactly which food is best for cleaning out your arteries, backed by science, easy to make at home, and already making a difference for thousands of older adults. Most people think of arteries like water pipes. You eat too much fat. Fat sticks to the walls. Then it clogs. That sounds logical. But the truth isn't that simple. Your arteries are living tissue. They constantly respond to what's happening inside your body. Every time you experience stress, high blood sugar, or mild inflammation, the inner lining of your blood vessels can become damaged. Your body reacts immediately. It sends cells to repair the damage. It triggers inflammation. It tries to restore the area. But the problem is, this process doesn't happen perfectly. During repair, certain substances begin to build up. Cholesterol, immune cells, and fibrous tissue. At first, this buildup is very small. It barely affects anything, but each time the damage repeats, a new layer forms. Over time, these layers thicken. The artery walls are no longer smooth. They become stiffer, narrower, and that's what we call plaque. And it doesn't appear suddenly. It's the result of thousands of small changes building up over time. What's important is this. You won't feel the process happening, no pain, no obvious symptoms, until blood can no longer flow easily, and everything happens very quickly. A stroke occurs. Nitric oxide, the survival switch of your blood vessels. So if the problem isn't just cholesterol, but how your blood vessels function, then what actually controls the entire system? The answer is a very small molecule that affects nearly everything related to blood circulation in your body. It's called nitric oxide. It may sound scientific, but you can think of it in a very simple way. Nitric oxide is like a traffic light system that directs the flow of cars in a city. When this system works well, the roads in your body, your blood vessels, open at the right time, blood flows smoothly, pressure stays stable, and everything runs so seamlessly you barely notice it. But when nitric oxide levels begin to decline, everything changes quietly. It's like the entire traffic light system starts malfunctioning. Traffic is no longer controlled, congestion builds up, collisions happen, and pressure increases throughout the system. In your body, that means your blood vessels no longer expand as flexibly as before. Blood flow becomes less smooth and pressure on the vessel walls gradually rises over time. More importantly, nitric oxide doesn't just open the road. It also acts as a natural protective layer for your arteries, helping prevent cholesterol from sticking to the walls, reducing inflammation, and keeping the inner lining of your blood vessels healthy. In other words, when nitric oxide is working well, your blood vessels can protect themselves. But when it declines, small damage begins to accumulate faster, and that's when serious problems start to form. After age 60, your body begins to lose nitric oxide, and that's when everything starts to change. What happens after age 60? After age 60, your body doesn't suddenly break down, but it begins to change in very subtle ways, and those changes build over time. The first thing that happens is the cells in your blood vessel walls no longer function as efficiently as before. They produce less nitric oxide, and their ability to repair themselves slows down, allowing small damage to linger longer instead of being quickly restored. At the same time, stress levels in your body tend to increase. You may not always feel it clearly, but stress hormones like cortisol quietly remain elevated, contributing to increased inflammation in the vessel walls. And then there's the third factor: lifestyle. You may not move as much as you used to. Fewer steps, more time sitting, and sleep that's no longer as deep as before. None of these cause immediate problems, but over time, they reduce the flexibility of your blood vessels. What's important is that these changes don't create a big warning. They show up as very familiar signs. You wake up feeling slightly tired, even after enough sleep. Your blood pressure begins to rise slightly, but not to a concerning level. You feel more sluggish in the afternoon. Nothing seems too serious. And that's exactly why. They're easy to ignore. And that's how the process continues, quietly, little by little. But here's what matters. Even though your body is changing with age, it doesn't mean you can't intervene. Because your body actually has an alternative pathway to produce nitric oxide, one that very few people know about. This pathway comes from the foods you eat every day. When you consume certain foods, your body can convert them into nitric oxide through a completely different mechanism without relying on the system that declines with age. So the question is, which foods can activate this pathway most effectively? And what are the simple, practical choices that you can start using today? 6. Fermented foods, pickled vegetables. There's a group of foods that very few people think about when it comes to blood vessels, and that's fermented foods, like naturally fermented pickled vegetables, kimchi, or sauerkraut. The reason is simple. These foods help nourish the good bacteria in your body, especially in your mouth and digestive system. And those bacteria play a key role in converting nitrates from food into nitric oxide. In other words, you don't just need to eat the right foods. You also need a healthy microbiome to use those foods effectively. A small amount each day is enough. For example, add a little fermented vegetables to your meal, or eat them alongside your main dish. But here's an important note. Choose naturally fermented products, not those preserved in industrial vinegar, because those do not provide the same benefits. 5. Leafy greens vegetables like spinach, kale, and arugula are all rich in natural nitrates, the raw materials your body uses to produce nitric oxide. Many people choose supplements, but in reality, your body absorbs nutrients from whole foods far more effectively. A very simple approach. Add a bowl of salad to your lunch or blend them with fruit into a morning smoothie. 4. Fatty fish salmon, mackerel, sardines. Provide omega-3 fatty acids that help reduce inflammation and protect your blood vessel walls. But there's one very common mistake: how they're prepared. If you fry fish at high temperatures, most of the benefits are lost. Light baking, steaming, or quick pan searing is much better, and if you have to choose, eating whole fish is still better than just taking fish oil supplements. 3. Garlic can help support blood vessel dilation and improve circulation. But not all forms are the same. Regular garlic powder provides very little of the same benefit. Fresh garlic or aged garlic, on the other hand, has a much more noticeable effect. The simplest way? Add garlic to your daily meals instead of relying only on pills. 2. Berries, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, pomegranates are rich in antioxidants that help protect your blood vessels. They're very easy to include in your diet. Add them to your morning oatmeal, pair them with yogurt, or enjoy them as a light snack. Small, but powerful over time. 1. Beetroot. This is the most powerful food on this list when it comes to supporting nitric oxide production. But many people overlook it, simply because they're not used to its earthy taste. Compared to leafy greens or supplements, beets provide a higher amount of nitrates and are easier for the body to convert. You can use them in several forms: beet juice in the morning, beet powder mixed with water or smoothies, or combine it with apples and carrots to make it easier to drink. And interestingly, the effects don't take long. Within 1 to 2 weeks, many people begin to notice more stable blood pressure. After about a month, energy levels throughout the day also improve noticeably. Before moving on, ask yourself, have you ever eaten these foods, but still didn't see improvement? Because there's one small detail that almost everyone overlooks. 1. Using antibacterial mouthwash every day. It may sound harmless, even beneficial for oral health. But what most people don't realize is the bacteria in your mouth play an important role in converting nitrates from food into nitric oxide. When you use strong antibacterial mouthwash daily, you don't just kill the bad bacteria. You also eliminate the good bacteria needed for this process. What's the result? Your body receives the raw materials from food, but can't efficiently convert them into nitric oxide. 2. Eating too much sugar. Sugar doesn't just affect your weight or blood sugar levels. It also directly increases inflammation in the body and damages the inner lining of your blood vessels. When this lining is damaged, your ability to produce nitric oxide drops significantly. And the dangerous part is, high sugar intake often comes from very familiar sources. Soda, sweets, yes, and even foods that seem healthy, but contain hidden sugars. Number 3. Chronic stress. This is the most commonly underestimated factor. You may eat well and even exercise regularly, but if your body is constantly under stress, the hormone cortisol remains elevated. This increases inflammation, causes blood vessels to constrict, and over time reduces your ability to produce nitric oxide. The problem is, stress doesn't always come from major events. Sometimes it's just the small daily worries that you've gotten used to. What all 3 of these habits have in common is they don't cause immediate problems, but over time, they weaken your body's natural protective system for your blood vessels. So beyond the main foods mentioned earlier, are there any other options that can further support your blood vessels? Simple, though easy to find things that you can add to your daily routine. Beyond the main foods you've just seen, there are a few familiar options that can further support your blood vessels when used correctly. But there's one important thing to remember. These foods help support. They don't replace the foundation. Olive oil is a great example. It contains healthy fats and antioxidants that help reduce inflammation and support the protection of your blood vessel walls. Just a small amount each day, such as in a salad or light cooking, is enough to provide benefits. Avocado is also an excellent choice. It provides healthy fats and potassium, helping support blood pressure and keep your blood vessels functioning more steadily. You can enjoy it with toast, in salads, or simply on its own. Legumes, especially lentils and black beans, some provide fiber and nutrients that support heart health. These are very easy to incorporate into everyday meals. And finally, green tea. A simple habit like drinking 1 cup of green tea each day can help reduce inflammation and support blood vessel function over time. All of these options share one thing in common. They don't create immediate, dramatic changes, but if you stay consistent, they help strengthen your body's natural protective system. Save this video so you can apply it step by step each day. If you begin making changes consistently, your body won't transform overnight, but it will respond, step by step, over time. In the first week, you may not notice much, but internally, your blood vessels have already begun to change. After 3 to 4 weeks, your energy becomes more stable, fatigue decreases, and sleep improves. And after 2 to 3 months, deeper changes appear. Your blood vessels become more flexible, circulation improves, and your overall health stabilizes. Not fast, but sustainable. Stay consistent and patient. If you remember just one thing, you're not just eating to survive, you're nourishing your blood vessels every single day. Health doesn't come from one big decision, it comes from small choices, repeated daily. Your heart isn't aging. It's responding to how you care for it. And you don't have to wait. Just start today.